Hey Grace,
What?
remember that time we did intuitive eating?
Yeah.
What do you think about talking about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
What's up, you guys? In today's episode, we're gonna talk about intuitive eating and my experience with it, and also the pros and cons to intuitively eat and to count your macros. All right, you guys, before I get too into depth about intuitive eating, I wanna talk about a background story on what led me to intuitively eat years ago. So for those of you who don't know, when I was around in middle school, I started having a weight gain issue. It was due to a poor diet and being uneducated, and also I lived with my mom and then I moved in with my dad. Like me unknowingly, my mom kind of controlled the foods I ate and made sure that they were more healthier, low calorie, whereas my dad let me eat whatever I wanted. So I went from 120 something pounds to 157 pounds around my heaviest, and I gained like a lot of weight really quick in a matter of a few months. I think I gained the bulk of the weight within 3 to 4 months. I gained so much weight in such a short period of time that people who knew me didn't recognize me because most of this weight was fat gain. So long story short, I joined LA Weight Loss. They give you some portion control sizes to follow with fats, proteins, carbs, and categories like that to follow in a pamphlet, making it easier, but it wasn't sustainable. I yo-yo diet for the longest time because it just couldn't follow their program year round because it just wasn't sustainable, since you could only eat out of a small pamphlet that they gave you, and back then there was no MyFitnessPal, there wasn't smartphones, so I didn't have the resources available or the knowledge to know about calories in and calories out. So then I ran into a book called Intuitive Eating, and I'll put the author's name and the proper book title up here somewhere, but anyhow, I followed this program, and basically it helps people with binge eating disorder, anorexia, or any kind of eating disorder. And while I did not have anorexia, I believe I did have a binge eating disorder, because from gaining all this weight and eating whatever to yo-yo dieting all the time, I was always in the diet mindset. It wasn't I didn't have a healthy relationship with food, and neither was I involved in sports or had very athletic activities to lose weight. I really didn't have any hobbies that burned a lot of calories. I was very sedentary, so yeah, I was lost. And from reading the intuitive eating book, basically the basic guidelines is eat when you're actually hungry, like you have that hunger in your stomach, and not when you're just bored or thinking about food and you just want to munch on something. So you definitely have to focus on, am I hungry, and ask that question and really feel that hunger before you eat. And then with food, there isn't really categories of bad food or good food. You eat what basically your body's craving. So say I want pasta, then I'm gonna have some pasta, but the rule of thumb is that you need to stop when you're full. So in the beginning of intuitive eating, you really need to hone down and focus when you're eating. You can't be watching videos on YouTube, be on your smartphone, because you're not aware of your present moment. So try to be present in the moment and eat until you are full. And then when you get hungry again, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. That's the basic foundation of intuitive eating. So how has it helped me in the past? It helped me basically get over the mindset of good food, bad food, and this dieting bonanza that I was in, because I constantly was going from low 130s to high 140s in an unhealthy manner. I had no really strength training program or anything like this. So intuitive eating really it doesn't really help you lose a ton of weight unless you're, morbidly a good amount of weight at first, if you are those kinds of people. But for someone like me who doesn't have that much weight to lose, when I intuitively eat, it mainly just helps me maintain my weight and not blow up, 15, 20 pounds really fast for no good reason. And why is intuitive eating healthy? It's healthy because it stops you from that dieting mindset and always counting numbers, because sometimes when you count macros for too long, calories for too long, or count something for too long, it can be mentally draining on you. So what are the disadvantages of intuitive eating? Some disadvantages are that you're not counting carbs, proteins, fats. And some advantages to counting at least the protein macronutrient is to hit your protein goals, change your body composition, and so forth. So if you're constantly craving Oreos, which most people probably aren't, you probably would get tired of Oreos after eating them straight for a few weeks. But if you are the type that always craves desserts, carbs, things that are mostly carbs and fats, your body composition may and probably will suffer since you're not getting enough protein for what your body needs. So in that sense, just intuitively eating what you crave can hinder your body composition. But there is like a middle ground that you could put yourself in. So basically, since I have the knowledge today about macronutrients and at least protein intake, I can kind of intuitively eat and be kind of conscious and aware of, maybe I should add a little more protein to this meal. Maybe I should cut a little fat and stuff like that. That's not really 100% intuitively eating because you're thinking about certain things like, if you're hitting enough protein and stuff, but that's a good middle ground. So basically, if you want to just have a healthy relationship with food and not really want to count anything or try to think of proteins, carbs, and fats, then just intuitively eat. Eat what you're craving, stop when you're full, and eat when you're actually hungry, and just don't overeat. And then if you want to, get a little bit of intuitive eating / kind of counting macros, you can do that middle ground thing where, say you order like a chicken pasta dish, maybe order some extra chicken or extra protein source to basically make sure that you're hitting your protein for every meal. So I hope these tips helped you guys and shown you a little bit of what intuitive eating is, what macros are, the benefits of both, and if you want to hit that middle ground, you can. If not, you can try intuitively eating or you can try counting your macros. Both have their pros and cons. Of course, counting macros is a little bit more work since you have to weigh things and count numbers all the time. And sometimes having that diet break / intuitive eating and not counting anything is very good for you mentally. Anyhow, you guys, if you like this video, please give it a like. Please comment down below your thoughts on intuitive eating / macro counting, and I'll see you on the next one.